Hello everyone! Today we're making an odd but immensely delicious dish from South Korea called Budae Jjigae, or Army Stew. Born out of necessity during the Korean War, this dish, still popular to this day, is a combination of traditional Korean ingredients and a few not-so-traditional ingredients, which all somehow come together into one flavor-packed stew like no other. Now, let's get into it. Let's start off with one of our Korean staples, green onions. These will be more of a garnish in this particular dish, but they're often the main ingredient in many side dishes, condiments, and salads in Korean cuisine. I'll show you the way they're most often processed. We'll just cut them into more manageable pieces and then stack them up. Then at a slight angle, cut them into strands. The thinner you can get them, the better. We end up with these fun little curls. They'll become even more curly once we set them in some water and put them in the refrigerator. This will also rinse off some of their oniony bite and make them more crisp, which is a nice added bonus. Next, we'll move on to some of our other vegetables. You can really use whatever you want in this dish. Like I mentioned before, this is a dish of necessity. Food became pretty scarce during the Korean War, so whatever you had available could find a home in a dish like this one. Here I'm just slicing up some leftover onion I have, as well as this mixed variety pack of mushrooms. These variety packs are great. Each of these mushrooms bring a slightly different texture and flavor, which is a big part of what makes this dish so great. Like I said before, you can really throw whatever vegetables you want in here, but some typical options would be squash, corn, cabbage, and even canned beans. I've also sliced up some garlic, as well as this piece of bok choy. Next here I have some instant noodles. These are a very common addition to this dish due to their availability and affordability, but any type of noodle can be used. Udon, buckwheat noodles, even dumplings or egg noodles, rice vermicelli, even macaroni are all viable options. I told you this is an odd dish. Then we have our cheese. Yes, cheese. And not just any cheese, but American processed cheese. Koreans can't get enough of this stuff, and honestly neither can I. It melts so perfectly into the stew and brings a ton of flavor and body to this dish. And it just keeps getting weirder. The meats. Now, there's a whole bunch of options here, but I'm going with some of the more usual suspects. Hot dogs, which we'll just slice up. Spam, yes, everyone's favorite ham in a can. I love this stuff, but the sodium doesn't love me, so I usually like opting for this low sodium version. We'll just cut some nice thick slabs of it. I also have this lapcheong, a dried Chinese sausage, and some good old-fashioned bacon. We'll just chop these up too. Now we have all of our add-ins. Alright, so this is where the dish really comes together, the sauce. All of these weird ingredients get combined into one pot, and this sauce is what brings it all together. So starting with our water, to this we'll add gochujang, a fermented Korean chili paste. If you've never used this, it's life-changing. It's savory, sweet, with a very mild spiciness to it. It's cheap, it lasts forever, and it has a ton of applications. Definitely try some out, it's pretty easy to find nowadays. Next, we'll add some dark soy sauce. It's a little sweeter and deeper in flavor than normal soy sauce, but either can be used. This here is just a little mirin, a Japanese rice wine. This too has a good amount of sweetness. Next, we have some dashi, Japanese fish stock. Any type of stock powder or stock will do here, but I personally think seafood or mushroom flavored stocks will have the best flavor in this dish in my opinion. And last, some gochujang, or Korean chili flake. This is one of the main ingredients in the gochujang paste we used earlier. Using them together really makes the flavor of both shine. I'd say this is optional, but again, this is a great product to just have on hand. We'll just give this a good stir together and it's good to go. Now we're ready to start building our dish. In a pot, or a deep pan like this one, with a lid to match, we'll start searing off our ingredients. This stew doesn't really come together like your standard stew. It's actually a bit easier. We're just going to get a little color on all of our ingredients here over medium heat, making sure not to crowd the pan too much. This is going to give each ingredient a little bit more complexity, having a nice browning on the outside, as well as building some flavors in the pan, which will be released when we add our liquid. I'm not really seasoning any of these or doing anything fancy to them, just a little oil and getting some color on each ingredient. So we'll just sear off our meats, and then our mushrooms, and then our vegetables. Just keep your heat around medium-low, and add a little oil as needed until you've gotten a nice color on all of your ingredients. We're just going to fast forward through this bit. There's not really much to it that needs explaining here. We're not seasoning anything, and there's not really any tips or tricks. It's just doing the same task over and over and over for a bunch of different ingredients. Now that everything's all par-cooked and looking nice, we can move on to assembling the dish. In that same pan, we'll just go in with our bacon over medium heat. We're just going to render this out to get some of that fat to cook our onions in, and then we'll add those in. We'll let those saute up for a few minutes, then go in with our garlic. I like adding the garlic just a smidge later than our other aromatics when sauteing to avoid any risk of burning it. I'm going to add a pat of butter to help things move along and for a little flavor, of course. And then we can start assembling. How we assemble this is going to reflect how the finished product looks. We aren't going to stir it or move it around or anything like that, so how we put it in there is how we're going to get it out. We'll put our noodle blocks right in the center. If you're using a different type of noodles, you should just be able to put them in uncooked like this. The simmering and steaming should cook most varieties. Although if you're using something like hard pasta or something like dumplings, you may want to par-cook these beforehand to ensure they cook through in the dish. Then around the sides here, you'll see I've put our other ingredients, our mushrooms, our vegetables, and our meats. I've also put a little kimchi in the center. It'll break down into the dish and give us some really good flavor. Again, optional, or you could serve it alongside the Budae Jjigae as a side dish or condiment. Now we'll just add our liquid, and our cheese, and it's ready to be covered with a lid and allowed to simmer on medium-low for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it's looking like this. Pretty glorious, I'd say, and the smell matches. Our noodles are soft and everything is kind of cooked down to a rich sauce. Now to garnish, I'm just going to use some toasted sesame seeds. And oh, check out these green onions. They've been in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes or so, and they've already curled up a ton. We'll just scatter these across the top for some much needed color. And look at that. That's one beautiful dish. I love this dish, and I think you will too. It's such a strange combination of ingredients brought together by similarly strange circumstance, which actually all turned out pretty good. There's so many unique flavors and textures that are somehow really familiar and really different at the same time. This one dish reminds me of mac and cheese, Korean barbecue, and SpaghettiOs in the best way possible, all at the same time. So, Budae Jjigae, a wonderful dish I highly recommend trying. I also recommend liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any fantastic dishes and cooking tips from yours truly. And as always, thanks for watching.